Chapter 13. Ever since I turned 15, I've worked weekends washing pots at Ray's restaurant, a fancy fish place right down from Pier B from 2 to 10. It's hot, sweaty work, the water is almost boiling, the garbage cans stink of fish guts, and I have to hunch over the whole time. The only good thing about the job is the money, and there isn't much of that. My boss is Jeff Krieger, a big guy with a big voice who's always worked up about something. Everybody steers clear of him if they can. When I stepped into the kitchen the Saturday after my dad got fired, Krieger was by the grill arguing with the chef, Carl Thorgerson. Instead of going to the sink, I went over to Krieger. "I've got to talk to you," I said. "Not now," he snapped, and he started going on about some salmon recipe Thorgerson wanted to use. I stood listening to them yell at each other about how much pepper was too much, wondering if they'd ever stop. The other kitchen help guys were peeling potatoes or chopping lettuce, all the time sneaking peeks over at me, wondering what I was doing. Finally, Krieger stopped for a moment and glared at me. "Didn't I tell you to get to work?" "I've got to talk to you," I said. "This better be important," he said. My throat went dry. I licked my lips, then swallowed. "I need more hours," I said. He laughed sarcastically and then motioned to the entire work crew. "You hear him? He says he needs more hours. Well, I'll tell you and I'll tell everyone. I've got no more hours to give." "You don't understand, Mr. Krieger." I said. "I do understand," he said, interrupting. "Your old man lost that job over at Sunset West. I heard about it. It's a tough break for you. But this isn't a church chance. This is a business, and right now business isn't good. You're lucky to have the hours you've got, so put on your apron and get busy." I did what he said, and for the rest of that afternoon I stopped thinking about anything but greasy pots and hot water and the steam, and how much I hated them all. When my shift ended, I was too tired to worry about money or my father or anything. I just went back to the boat and slept. Can't think about something all the time, no matter how important it is. For the next few weeks, my mind would go back and forth between long periods of vague drifting and short times of intense focus. When my mind was drifting, my dad's drinking, the mortgage fees, school, none of it seemed to matter much. The blood in my body and the thoughts in my brain moved slowly like a wide river close to the ocean. But every once in a while, I'd snap out of that state, and everything would seem as sharp as if it were under a microscope. Sometimes all I could think about was the money. I'd looked over, and it seemed like every kid but me had it. Money for cars, money for clothes, money for movies, money for CD players, money for cell phones. Walking home after school, I'd watch the Lexuses and Mercedes pull out of the parking lot, the owners hidden behind tinted glass. I'd look at the houses on Sunset Hill with their fancy landscaping and their statues and fountains. All of it cost money, lots of money, money that all these people had. How could money be so easy to get for some people and so hard for others? When the end of the month finally came, I told myself that I wasn't going to ask my dad about the mortgage fee. There was no point because I knew the answer, but when I got back to the boat in the afternoon and I saw him sitting topside, smoking a cigarette and reading the newspaper like some retired rich guy, I couldn't stop myself. "Did you pay the mortgage fee?" I said as soon as I stepped onto the boat. He looked up from the newspaper. "What?" "The mortgage fee," I repeated. "It's due today. Did you pay it?" "Don't worry about the mortgage fee, Chance. They can't touch us for 3 months. It's the law. By then I'll have a job." "What if you don't get a job?" "I will get a job." "Can you get unemployment compensation?" "No, I can't get it. My job wasn't that kind of job, and I can't get welfare anymore either. So what are you going to do?" "I told you. I'm going to get a job." He held the newspaper up in front of him so I couldn't see his face. I went down below, shoved my backpack under the navigation table, and made myself a cheese sandwich. As I was eating, he leaned down into the companionway. "I'm going out," he said. "I'll be back later." When I finished the sandwich, I sat at the table thinking. 3 months. It wasn't long. What would we do then? Sell the boat? Who'd buy it? There had to be 20 boats for sale in the marina in better shape than the Tiny Dancer. Besides, without the boat, where would we live? I ran that day, but instead of going through the locks and up into Magnolia, I kept going on Market until I reached Little City Hall. I pushed around some brochures on a table, hoping to spot what I was looking for. Behind the counter was a guy with long hair and a beard. "Can I help you find something?" he said. "There's this family I know that doesn't have much money. I was thinking they might be eligible for food stamps. Is there some sort of application form?" "It's right there," he said, "right where you're looking, in green." I picked up the form. "Thanks," I said, folding it and putting it in my back pocket. "I'll bring this to them."